Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The would-be judges, 144,000. And the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be among the heathen nations, that have the appearance of the heathen nations, the Israelite foreigners. This is not a black-only thing because of that fact. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. And I'm going to play this video that's from the Biblical Rumble Room. This is one of these Johnny-come-lately persons, groups, or whatever. And these new guys that come around after the men have labored, entering into other men's labors and giving no credit as if they came up with this stuff. I've been doing this for almost 17 years now, coming up on 2 decades, and would never not mention the apostles and the elder bishops. They indeed are the teachers that the men that were set up. As a matter of fact, let's get Amos 3 and 7. All right, they're the prophets of the Lord. The Lord set up men here on earth to teach this truth, not churches, not theologian schools, not seminary schools. He set up men, the prophets, all right, who have to be of the lineage of the 12 tribes that were scattered, all right, according to the scriptures. And it reads, and we're blowing the trumpet, and we're blowing it loud, all right, of the end times and the end day prophecies. But this is Amos 3 and 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and Yahweh have not done it? So all the evil that's happening, the Lord did it, and he sent the men to warn you of it. Surely Yahweh power, surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets, who are men. All right? And the men reveal to you the name. And so this Bible Rumble Room guy comes with these, there's, and I'm not even going to go that deep into it. I'm going to just show a couple quick receipts just to prove the breakdown of the Father's name is Yahweh. Whether you're using the ancient Paleo Hebrew, which is proper, the one on top, or you're using the aftermarket Assyrian script, right, which isn't proper. Okay? The one that's on the bottom. And self-existent one, the eternal, and then they add to you. Remember the fact that, and it's not a Jewish name, it's an Israelite name. Remember, the Jewish, the J is a hijack, which is the terminology that I use. And the only other person I know that uses that terminology is that bro Cootie Merrill. But Cootie Merrill doesn't go into to breaking down of the scriptures like this. Cootie Merrill, for the most part, he goes deep into history. All right. And I would say probably most of the time I agree with him, but there's a few things that he, that I feel he goes off on. Well, I know that he goes off on, but nevertheless, as far as giving the breakdown of the name, even he says the name Yahweh. All right. And that's exactly what it means. That's the breakdown of the name Yah, meaning he, Hawa, exist, Yahweh. And the son's name is Yahweh Shai. And those are the Hebrew words that you can go look up in the Strongs or in the Blue Book, the Blue Bible, the Blue Letter Bible, to get the breakdown of the meanings. The letter J, this whole J thing, was newly created. The letter J wasn't created until 1534, and it wasn't really written into Bibles or books in general until the 1600s, like the mid 1600s, about almost 100 years later, about 1634. I have a King James 1611 on the shelf behind me, and there are no J's in it. Well, every place where the name, is Jesus. They don't even say Jesus. It's Jesus. All right, which means the Savior. All right, because you got the anointed Savior. That's Hamashiach. All right, and that's a Greek transliteration for the word. All right, and proper nouns don't translate. Okay, although you did have Greek-speaking Israelites and Hebrews, but there was no reason to translate the name because proper nouns don't translate. They never have. All right, you always said the person's name in their language. You said their name. All right, you may not have spoken their language, but you learned how to say their name. They introduced you with their name. I don't go and introduce myself to someone and transliterate my name to their language, and neither do they. That was done purposely. And this group is one of those, I believe that this biblical, that's what Esau does. Anytime there's anything that puts him on blast, anything that shows a truth to a side of him that he does not want to be shared. What Esau Edom does is he infiltrates, and he gets people to infiltrate, and that's exactly what this biblical rumble room is. Infiltrators, who've infiltrated the Hebrew thing, and they're being paid, and they speak the truth for the most part. I've never heard them acknowledge the Northern Kingdom, so they changed the doctrine there because they're trying to keep their separation. And then secondly, and most importantly, they give the name with those added European vowel points, which was added by Eliezer ben Yehudi in the late 1800s. All right, he added the European E, V, O, and U sounds. There is no E, there is no U, there is no V, there is no O sound, no longs. Those sounds are not in Hebrew. He added those. He changed the language. It's a real simple thing to and that's what the Israelis are speaking today. The bastardized language that Eliezer ben Yehudi did when he changed the names and to hide it. Okay, they didn't even call themselves the J word until the 1860s. They were admittedly, converts, and all of a sudden they became the real people. All right. So, now that that's all out the way, I'm gonna play this 4-minute short video, and then I'm just gonna read some scriptures, and this won't be that long.
Anyways, the history of Christianity and racism. It's like, how could they justify doing all these things? And if you can still, it's public domain, there are still sermons out there that you can read that was being preached. And what they were preaching was, well,
they were teaching hate. I have to intervene. I have to say this. If you are a so-called African American, a so-called Hispanic that subscribe to the fraud of Christianity, of Catholicism, and that's all Christianity is. It comes from all Christian churches stem from the Catholicism, right? Which means universal. And the Bible is not a universal book; it's an inclusive book. The Lord is the power of the Israelites. Right, all the other nations are just extras in the Lord's movie. And if you subscribe to Catholicism, which is Christianity by default, you are beyond stupid, beyond foolish, and I just find it utterly amazing that anyone that's actually of Israelite descent, that is an actual Negro, Latino, Native American, or even if you're scattered, all right? If you're scattered and you look like the heathen, it doesn't matter. If you subscribe to Catholicism, in any way whatsoever. And if you're Catholic, you're a Christian by default. And you're among the tribes, according to blood, you are one stupid individual. It says that is that Hosea 4:6? It says someone could put on a comment board, my people are lost for a lack of knowledge. Yeah, and they truly are lost.
The first reason they could enslave those black people, the true Hebrews.
And see, the fact that he even called you black. Okay. I've done at least, I would say, more than probably 2 dozen videos on that word black, and how they purposely, and you're brown in complexion, you're physically and visibly brown people, from dark chocolate brown to really light complected brown, what they'll call yellow or red bone. All right. And that's so-called Negroes and so-called natives and Latinos, brown people, not black at all. Nothing black. No one has black skin. Even the darkest Africans, darkest Indians, because I've seen some Indians in India darker than some Africans, or just as dark. They're still brown. Chocolate is brown. All right. They call you black, and we've already given you the very demeaning definitions of black, and so they're purposely insulting you in the category that of the name that they created for you, and you still accept it. Stupid.
The Southern Kingdom.
Well, that was true.
The 2 tribes that had to go into judgment last. Anyways, I digress. They came out through the transatlantic slave trade. So the true Hebrews have been hidden. And the last party that helped hide the identity of who the Hebrews were.
So it looked like they edited, and if he did speak something about the Northern Kingdom, all right, it was edited out. So, like I said, Biblical Rumble Room, these are agents, man. These are paid agents giving you a portion of the truth to try to keep division.
Is the West, the Caucasians. They have hijacked the truth.
This is how I know that these people are watching my videos, because I don't know of any other brother who uses that term as much as I do. Just saying.
And have inserted lies. They created this Christian faith, and the masses would go to their churches and be told by their pastors that black folks were 2/3 of a human being. So what was taking place was okay. That's fruit, guys. And the reason that fruit existed is because of the manipulation through the Christian church. It is anathema. Catholics are anathema, and the Protestants are anathema. This has all been built on a lie. And you have to come out of the whore of Mystery Babylon, the false faith that bows before idols. Christian, white, America. One of your idols is being white.
100% true. And they're not white. That's some shit they made up. 1681 in Virginia. They started labeling themselves white. Never happened before in history. It wasn't until 1681 in Virginia to try to separate them, to try to separate the poor Edomites and the poor Jake, who were aligning themselves together against the wealthy, because no one really, color wasn't that, no one used color to identify race. because they, Esau, Edom knew that they knew just like we knew that whatever your father is, that's what you are. The proof of that is the works of Oliver Cromwell and his brother, removing all the Negroes from Ireland, and then all their sons that were pale that looked like the man on the camera. All right, that they made with all the white concubines, or the Edomite concubines, I should say, the pale concubines and wives. All right, because in those parts of the world, see if I have that right here. Maybe I put it on the shelf. I thought I had it, but I had a book of it showed you a black knight and his pale bride from Scotland. From Britain. I must have put it. Yeah, it's behind me. But yeah, and that was from, I believe it was either the 13 or the 1400s. It showed you a Negro knight with his pale bride. All right. And the Ancient and Modern Britons. Ancient and Modern Britons is the name of that book. All right, but this whiteness is something that was made up. All right, because white has to do with pure, and then black has to do with everything evil, ugly, and dirty. Hence the reason why they call you black people. All right, and when they call themselves white people, you had a group of Edomites referred to themselves as Puritans. And Esau, Edom, is the only thing that they're pure in is evil. All right, it has nothing to do with color. Okay, like I said, just go look up the works. And I got a couple different books in the room that I need to finish about Oliver Cromwell and his brother and the works that they were doing to remove the Negroes from rulership in Ireland, Scotland, and Britain. All right, mainly from Ireland. And then the murdering of and the sending of their seeds into slavery, sending them to the islands, to Montserrat, to Jamaica, and into the West Indies. That's what they did. All right, they sent them over there. All right, the ones that I've often heard Irish people and so-called white people talk about there were white slaves too that got sent to the islands. Well, that's why, because their fathers, their daddies, or their grandfathers, all right, were Negroes. That's why they were sending the pale men, the pale Irish, because they were pale, but they were the blood, Well, there you go. They were really Israelites according to the flesh. That's why the white men were sending those particular white men into slavery. But here we go.
And deep down inside, you're not going to accept the melanated people for who they are unless Yahuwah changes your heart.
And then he goes on this rant about, and he says Yahuwah, and then he says some crazy name for the Father. So that's why I had to open the video with, the way I did to clarify that. So that's off. That's completely off. So we're going to read something, we'll finish this with Baruch. And this is Baruch 4:1, and it reads, "And this is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endured forever, and all they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die." So calling on the name, the proper and the true name, is very important. All right, it says Romans 7:1 tells you that the law has dominion over man as long as he liveth. Romans 3:29 through 31 tells you the same thing. We established the law, right? And the name is beyond important, especially is it being so close to the destruction. All right, you got to be calling on the right name, or it could turn out bad for you. This is Baruch 4:2. "Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated." So that's why we have this understanding, because it's not that we think that the law is going to save us, But we know that the only way to please the Lord is to try to keep it to the best of your ability in this captivity. All right? Because no one can keep it. That's why we're under grace. No one can keep the law wholly, completely in this captivity as long as Esau, Edom is in rulership. Because in America, there are laws of the Bible that if you kept those laws would get you locked up. All right? I just watched a short video about a man whose son was shot dead by a pale male race enforcer. All right. And the very next day, the father tracked that pale male down and ran him over and killed him with his car. And was standing there boldly looking at all of them in the faces. The courtroom was lined up with all of them. He stared them all in their faces as he walked by them. And although they're going to mistreat and do all kind of things to him. But guess what? In the Bible, there's something called a blood avenger. That man shot his son dead, said that he's claiming he had a gun, and he didn't have a gun at all. He just wanted to kill him, a nigger, and he did exactly that. All right. And then the next day he got judged. Okay. So once again, turn thee, O Jacob, take hold of it, walk in the presence of the light thereof. All right. That thou may be illuminated. So that man actually, you know, like I said, there are laws in the Bible that if you keep them in America, can get you put in prison or even executed. Okay, so we're in captivity, and what I just shared with you is evidence of it, because they have sanctuary cities in the Bible that you are able to go to avoid a blood avenger. Because if you killed someone's loved one, even accidentally, in the Bible, there is a law that gives a family member the right to avenge the blood of that lost family member. And so that's exactly what Jake did. Jake went and found that Edomite and put him to death. Okay. And so, knowing the law, understanding the laws have enlightened you, but you also have to use wisdom. Okay. Like I said, someone is teaching you the law, but not teaching you about mercy and grace and the fact that we're still in captivity. There's certain laws you can't even keep the Passover properly in most cases. How many Jakes actually have sheep with herds of goat and farms with herds of goat or sheep that they can actually pick the male and bring it up properly to prepare it the way it's supposed to be prepared according to the law? It's slim to none. Very few that can actually do that. And Esau definitely doesn't do that. All right. Baruch 4:6. Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved God to wrath, ye were delivered unto your enemy. So we got delivered into captivity. That did not happen to the Jewish people. All right. The hijackers that hijacked our nationality. They, as a matter of fact, you learn that they were plantation owners and they were ship owners, and they also owned the insurance companies that insured the cargo, which was our people. Okay, like I said, then they want to claim to be, J-ish. So you can't be the victim and be the villain? All right. Oh well, unless you're both. You're the villain victims. That's exactly what you are. I'm gonna jump up, go toward the end here, because now we're coming to the point where the Lord is bringing them down and exposing them. All right, our punishment is up, and now it's their turn. I mean, even Hollywood is going belly up and having a hard time and facing sanctions now. So many of these A-list actors now are doing commercials. But this is Baruch 4:24. Like as now the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity, so shall they shortly see. So shall they see shortly your salvation from our power. All right, which shall come upon you with great glory in the brightness of the everlasting. My children, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from God. For thine enemy have persecuted thee, but surely thou shalt see his destruction, and thou shalt tread upon his neck. Oh, Lord, Yahweh, Shem Shai, I can't wait. And you can see it coming. And a lot of them know it's coming. Jumping down to verse 36. O Jerusalem, because Jerusalem, Israel is a people before it's a place. All right? Because the place, well, is being trampled by the Gentiles right now. Okay? Because when Israel goes home, they will dwell in peace and safety alone, not be threatened by war and fires and all kind of, and cancer and all the other things that's going on over there. Have parades, alphabet parades and stuff. You know, these are not those people over there are not the people of the Lord. Baruch 4:36. O Jerusalem, look about thee toward the east, and behold the joy that cometh unto thee from God. So, you know, that will be all those chariots. And when the Lord comes on his gigantic chariot, he'd be come around the mountain. That's what that song was about. The mountain is the gigantic chariot that the Lord is going to be on. King Yahushai, right? And you notice they stopped talking about the UFOs, the UAPs, and the drones that can actually go in and out of the atmosphere when man can't. Elon Musk proved that the space travel was a lie, according to the stories that's been put in the history books since 1969. They can't go through the Van Allen belt. They can't go to the other side of it. Okay? That's something they want to do. But our salvation, the vehicles of our salvation can travel in and out of, through the Van Allen belt with no problem. Through the firmament with no problem. Okay? That's why we got to be changed to go on those ships when they come, so we can survive and go in and out of the Van Allen belt, the firmament. 37. Lo, thy sons come, whom thou sentest away. They come gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of God and the glory of that power, and by the word. And who did that word come from? It came from the prophets. All right, starting with the apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone, using the unicorn. All right, and then from and their elders and ultimately Elder Abba Bibbins, who was definitely Elias, John the Baptist, turning the hearts of the children back to the Father. So through men on earth that at this particular time were to wake up and bring this message back into the earth via the unicorn, which is the internet. You know, that feed horn, that antenna. And they were gathered by the word, the holy word of the Holy One. So with that, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, the true and proper name. All right. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers that do this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives to do this work. All right. Shalom, Abba Babal.